Today is yoga for anxiety. We're going to move kind of fast today. Trying to just get into the physical body and a little bit out of the head. So we work a little bit harder, trying to get a physical experience, and then at the end we'll do a meditation. So if you have a block, grab a block. If you have a strap, grab a strap. Options for making it, come to your seat please. Options for making it a little bit more challenging. Yoga doesn't do a lot of that pull, so we use the strap to do a little pull. So it's just optional, you don't have to have it. So we're going to start in a seat today. So just come to a comfortable seat and just start to land in today, in this present moment. Go of all the things that have happened before and all the things that have yet to happen. Perhaps take a moment just to take in your environment. Notice the sounds around you, the smells around you. Notice how your room looks. And then take a few moments to really tune inside, and if you can, close your eyes. Noticing where you are at in this moment. How do you feel? Maybe even asking yourself the question, how am I? Noticing how your breath is and seeing if you could just start to soften the muscles in the torso and let your breath come in a little more fully. Maybe imagining with each breath you're just getting a little bit lighter and a little bit taller. Begin with a gratitude prayer. So we're going to bring 4 things to mind that we can be grateful for, and they can be simple. For me, I use my 4 dogs. And just think of 4 things that you could be grateful for and place them on each finger. So 1 on the index finger, 1 on the middle finger, 1 on the ring finger, and 1 on the little finger. And then begin to touch the thumb to the finger, thumb to index, say the thing you're grateful for, middle, say the thing you're grateful for, and so on. Taking slow rounds, just gently repeating 4 things that you are grateful for. And you don't have to really connect with the sensation of gratitude, just the concept. So maybe you don't feel particularly grateful today, and that's okay. Just think of 4 things that you could be grateful for, and just think of them. Touch your finger, slowly repeat. And if you really want to fake your brain or give a little trick for your brain, maybe even try a little soft smile on your face. Complete a full round and allow your hands to soften open. Now we begin to move and breathe. Inhale, lift your arms up like zombie arms overhead. Exhale, bring them back down. Just starting to connect with our breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Maybe starting to inhale and lift up, open the chest. Exhale, scoop out the belly, round the back a little. Bring the arms up overhead and then lower the right hand down and press into the ground. Stretch the left rib cage open. Breathe into that open, lift left rib cage. And then placing the left hand behind your head but not on it, you're going to inhale as you open, draw that elbow back. Exhale as you squeeze it back over. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze over towards the right knee. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, left hand comes over. Press into the left hand, open up that right rib cage. Take the tension out of the neck. Breathe, almost as if you're trying to send your breath between each rib. And then bring the right hand behind but not on the head. Inhale, open elbow up to the ceiling. Exhale, bring it down to the left knee. Inhale, open. Exhale, down. Inhale, lengthen all the way tall. Exhale, bring the arms down. Roll the shoulders, nice slow circles all the way back. Slow as you can go, trying to feel every part of your circle. And then reverse the direction of your circles. And then bring your head really, really, really tall. Bring your chin down to your chest and take your head in a very slow circle as if you're trying to feel every single point of the circle. And then all the way back. Back to neutral. Bring the chin back to neutral and then make your way over to a tabletop position. We're going to inhale forward and exhale back. This time try adding a gentle pause. Inhale forward, tabletop. Exhale towards a child's and then gentle pause. Inhale forward, exhale back. Gentle pause. Maybe each time slowly lengthening that gentle pause just a little. Trying not to pause and restrict until you feel fear. Just gently seeing if you can lengthen that pause. And then land in a child's and see what you can let go of. Surrender into the pose. Find some tension in your neck. Maybe you can let go of. Maybe some tension in your hands or wrists or face. Then placing the forearms down and starting to engage the forearms. We're going to bring the chest towards the shoulders. Coming up onto our forearms and engaging first. We're just going to start to warm up the shoulders. So really pulling your hands apart. They're pushing into the mat and then trying to rip the mat apart. Arms are engaged. We're going to move our shoulders forward, nose forward, and then shoulders forward, nose back. Trying to stay engaged.
Shoulders forward, nose back.
Shoulders forward, nose forward, shoulders back, nose back. Inhale forward. And then exhale back. Trying to find some engagement to warm up the shoulders. We're going to use the shoulders a fair amount. And then come forward and set up. Maybe you can take the toes back and come to a full forearm back plank. Try not to lock the knees. Try to get strong on the front line as well as the back. So you're using your back, you're using your core, you're using your arms and shoulders, but you're not placing too much tension in the neck and the face. Breathe and hold. And then lower the knees and slowly come back to a seat. We're going to swing onto a hip and swing the feet back and take the hands behind us. So different position for our arms and shoulders. You can point the fingers towards you. You can have the hands out, whichever is more comfortable for you. We're going to take little tricep dips here. So starting to find where you're engaged. Try not to roll onto the tailbone. Take little pumps. Little pumps of the triceps. And then plant the feet down solid on the ground. And we're going to lift the hips up. You do not need to lift them high. You can just lift and hover. Or if you want to try and get them up about even with the knees, go ahead. Feel where lift. Try not to bring your head all the way back. Keep your head up. Engage the core a little more. And take little dips here, little tiny movements. So really more with the arms and the hips. Engage the core.
I'm really weak.
Lower the hips. And then come on back with the torso. Wiggle the fingers out and feel like you're pulling back. So a little bit of a stretch. Pulling your chest through your shoulders. And then either return to the same position. You can keep your hips down for tricep dips, or if you want to pump it up a little bit, change the position of your hands a little bit, just so that you're using slightly different muscles. Bring your feet a little bit further away from the body, maybe almost to straight legs. Press your feet down, really engage first, lift up, and maybe take your little dips here. Tiny, tiny, tiny movements here. Squeeze the core. Keep your base stable. Maybe even come to a full reverse plank. Lift the hips. Breathe and hold. Take the tension out of the neck. Slowly lower the hips. Bring yourself up. Grab a band. We're going to press into the band just to kind of do the opposite. This should actually feel pretty good because we're using a different muscle group. And you can take a little movement here. You can also just grab your hands. If you don't have a band, grab your hands and pull apart. Take a little movement. Feel your shoulders engaging into the band. And then hands down while engaging into the band. Come over your knees, take a tabletop or take a full plank, engaging into the band. And then you can hover your knees, you can drop your knees, or you can come stay in full plank. Bring left hand to meet right, and then stretch and pull right hand out. Bring right hand to meet left. Stretch and pull left hand out. A lot of work in the shoulders.
I don't like you.
You can do it. Meet and then out. Meet and then out. Pull those arms. Pull the shoulders. Strengthen the upper body. It's okay to curse at the teacher. I can't hear you anyway. Go ahead. Work those shoulders. I told you needed to warm them up. Lower the knees and find a child's pose. What can you let go of? Find your breath. You can keep the bend around the lower arms. Come on up to a down dog. And warm up your down dog. Take your hips side to side, bend the knees, whatever you prefer. Just get into this movement. Into the shape. And then find the stillness of your down dog. Find your breath.
I smell so bad.
Maybe even adding that gentle pause. Breathing in deeply. Breathing out deeply. And then adding the gentle pause. You take a little more tension out of the neck. A little more tension out of the face. Now bend the knees deeply. Look towards the hands and either jump, step, or float all the way up to meet your hands. Keeping that engagement with the arms, a little bend in the knees.
I thought I was done. I already let go of my hand. I was too hopeful.
No, nice try. A little bend in the knees. Take the tension out of the neck. Fold. Maybe even let your torso find your upper legs, your thighs. Still a little bit of engagement of the bend. Deep bend in the knees. Inhale as you press into the bend and rise your arms up overhead. Still engaged. And then we're going to bend into the knees. We're going to come down to a little half chair. Arms can remain up or they can come down about shoulder, a little less or about shoulder height. Lots of choices. Engage, hold. Find a solid chair base. So feel like you're pulling the mat apart. The outsides, the insides, the entire leg should be engaged. Lower back should be less engaged. Stomach should be more engaged. Breathe. And we're going to inhale, lift. Exhale, widen into the bend and bring your torso down. Inhale, lift a little break. Exhale, widen, pull the arms apart. Bring the torso down. Inhale. Exhale, maybe even a little pause. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Hold. Breathe. Bring the torso up just a little bit. Switch the band so it's around your arms and your arms are behind you. Engage here. So just get comfortable in the shoulders first. I like to place my hands on my hips so I can find my shoulders comfortable first. And then engage into the band. So I'm still pulling, just pulling in a different shape. Bring the torso forward. And we're going to inhale, lift. Exhale, pull and squat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, pull into the band and squat. Soften your arms as you lift. Engage the arms and pull wide as you squat. And then bring your torso up, release your band, toss it. You're probably really done with it. Shake the hands, little flicks of the hands, little flicks of the arms, shake. Get the arms loose as you can. See if you can really get some wobbles. Take them out, wobble them out. Really wobble, wobble, wobble. See if you can wobble them in all directions. Really loosen and soften the arms. And then we're going to inhale nice and slow. Exhale nice and slow as we roll our arms nice and slow backwards like we're swimming in a lake. Looking up at a lovely cloudy blue sky. Let go of the arms and shoulders. Bring it back to center. Find your mountain pose. Bring your hands to prayer heart center. Perhaps even close your eyes and settle in. We work the arms and shoulders a lot, so maybe taking a moment to see what feels different. And then we're going to do that same practice without the band this time, without engagement. So we're going to inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, round the back, squat down, torso towards knees. Inhale, scoop and fresh. This time maybe sweep. Inhale, scoop and fresh. Exhale, sweep away something you don't need. Inhale, scoop. Exhale, sweep. Maybe pause. One more time, scoop in nice and strong, open wide. Bring your hands down to prayer with the exhale. Pause, notice, scan inside. Inhale, prayer up overhead, watching your prayer. Exhale, bring it back down through center all the way to the ground. Touch the ground. Right foot back, left foot back, high plank. Breathe and hold. And then hips back, down dog. So if you want to remain challenged here, you're going to stay in down dog and do the following prep. If not, you're going to come to a tabletop position. We're going to work the hips a little. So staying in a down dog if you want to be challenged, we're going to lift the right leg high. We're going to bend the right knee and we're going to engage this leg. We're going to engage the shoulders and chest. We're going to soften the face and the neck. We're going to bring right knee out and around towards the right elbow and then back. Like we're trying to make a big circle with the knee. Find every single way that your hip can move. And don't just throw this leg. This leg is not floppy. It's engaged and strong. Out, in, slow. The slower you go, the more you're going to find that mind-body connection with your muscles. Bring the right knee towards the right elbow. Lift and hover. Engage the leg. Bring the right knee across towards the left elbow. Lift and hover. Engage. And then bring it up. Three-legged dog. And step through the lunge. Find some movement. Inhaling forward. Exhaling leg towards straight. Maybe even a little pauses. Inhale forward, exhale towards straight, little pause. Starting to have your own internal experience. Which way does your hip, your leg, your knee, your ankle need to move today? Find some movement, find some exploration. Inhale forward, exhale back. And then find a little lunge. If you have the blocks, steady yourself on your blocks. Try to engage this right leg a lot. So you're lifting up off that right thigh. Engage torso, engage back leg. And we're going to come forward onto the right leg, lift the back toes, bend the back foot, and then bring it down. Inhale, squeeze, lift. Exhale, lower. And then see if you can bring it, inhale up, left knee towards that left elbow, slow back. All the way up, nice and slow. Find the muscles that make this movement. Find that mind-body connection. And then back to low lunge. Steady. Send that front leg towards straight. You may need to bend the back knee a lot. Toes can remain down, or you can lift the toes. Lower the toes. And we're going to come forward, weight onto the front leg again. Maybe pop up the back. Learn to float. So we're going to bend the back knee. We're going to squat a little more into the front. And we're going to see if we can lift and float, arms wide. And maybe even little teeny tiny squats. Learn to float. Learn to find your center of gravity. Open your wings, maybe even start to make this movement bigger. Learn to float. Hold it, lift it, bring the left knee all the way up to stand. And then bring that left foot down and tap it out. Right hip, right leg might be burning, right foot might be burning. Tap it out.
Your lower back for some reason might be burning.
Okay, that's not good. You're overusing your lower back. Bring your feet back into underneath the hips. Hands to prayer for start. Sink the hips down a little. We are going back into learning to float, a little bit challenging this time. So feet underneath our hips. We are going to bring the weight onto the right leg. And bring that left knee back up. Woo. We're going to bring the left foot towards the right knee. So flex it and bring it open. So lift so you can look down and see the arch of your left foot. Hold it here. And then we're going to pulse it. So we're going to squat down and then lift this knee. Heels. Squat down, lift the heel. Really trying to find that inner thigh on the left leg. Lots of movement, maybe starting to make this bigger. And bring your arms into play, opening your wings. Inhale as you lift, exhale as you lower. Engage the left leg a little more. So there's a passive stretch that we do where we kind of sit out here and we bring it onto our leg. We're trying to find the muscles to make the movement. So finding the muscles. Bring it up. Right leg is bent. We're going to bring this foot to turn it out. And then we're going to slowly take the knee behind us and tuck it all the way behind the left. All the way back to where we came. Slow, slow, slow. Learn to float. All the way back. Take a couple of rounds. Learning to float. Working those hips in amazing new ways. Nice and strong hips. And then bring that left foot down and tap out the right. Really loosen, soften the right. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive down. Touch the ground. Left foot back. Right foot back. High plank hold. Bring the right knee towards the right hand and bring the right foot out a little more. So pigeon pose, but an active pigeon. So we're gonna push so that we can feel a little weight in our hands still, and then actively push the right leg into the ground. See if you can find a nice kind of opening and stretch for the glute and the right glute. So you wanna make this nice and active. Find that position. Rather than sinking down into the joint, we want to find it up high on the right glute.
I like sinking. It feels the same if I push.
Press into the right leg. Press.
I know, but I feel it in the same place.
Up high. You should feel it here.
But I also feel that here.
You shouldn't feel it underneath though.
I don't feel it underneath at all.
I know that's the problem because you have hypermobility.
Oh.
So lift
I
up,
still
engage.
feel it where I'm supposed to feel it up here.
Oh, lift up, engage. And then slowly bring it over onto the right hip. You should have bent knee in, left leg out.
I was ready for Shavasana.
It's like not even close.
So that was my mat. It made a farting noise again. My mat is there.
Alright, so we're gonna get up nice and tall. See if you can get nice and even. You're gonna turn and look at the left leg, lift the right arm, take it across the left leg. So once you get here, wiggle around. You wanna find a nice opening across that right side body and also a little stretch in the left leg. Pull the toes towards you. Take the tension out of the head and the neck. Breathe. And then we're going to move and breathe here. So bring the sole of the left foot to the ground. Place the right hand down behind the right hip. Scoop, inhale, lift. Exhale, bring it back down. Scoop, inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, bring it back down. Find some movement. Find some expression. Inhale, scoop and fresh. Breathe, open. Pause. Exhale. Exhale, bring it down. And then pause. Inhale, scoop and fresh. Breathe and open. Exhale, release, and then pause. And then lift up, hold. Bring the left hand down. Press in your hands and find a tabletop. Send the hips up and back, down dog. And again, option here to stay in a tabletop for the hip movement, or we're going to go up to down dog. We're going to lift the left leg. We're going to bend the left knee, and we're going to take this left knee in as big a circle as we possibly can, bringing it towards the left elbow and then all the way back up. As slow as you can, trying to find that mind-body connection. Which muscles make this movement? We're not just making the movement and copying the teacher. Which muscle makes my leg move in this angle? Which one is stronger? Which one is weaker? Having an internal experience. If I move slightly differently this way, what happens? Getting to know your muscles, getting to know your body. And then bring it towards the left elbow, hold. Bring towards the right elbow, hold. Bring it all the way back to three-legged dog. Bring it through the lunge and find some movement. Inhale forward and exhale left leg towards straight.
Troubling with my block of it.
And then set up in a nice solid low lunge. Get really strong in the left, left leg. Get strong in the right leg. Tall and long in the torso. Engage. Inhale, squeeze forward, lift toes. Exhale, back. Inhale, lift toes, bend knee. Exhale, back. Learning to float a little. Maybe even starting to make this movement without our hands. And then bring it back. Low lunge. Breathe. Find your base. This time we're going to come forward, bend the knee, and bring it around towards the right elbow and back. Forward, bring it around and back. And then come forward on the left leg. Bring the right knee bend. Tuck it a little behind. Maybe even hover and float. Both legs engaged. Breathe as you hover and float. Squat down a little, lift up. Little tiny movement, engage. Find your wings, float. And then come all the way up to stand. Right leg forward, hold. And then tap it out. Take a break on that left hip. Stand even on your feet. Weight onto the left leg. Try to get more strength in the stomach, less tension in the low back. Soft face, soft shoulders. Weight into the left leg. We're going to bring right leg up. Woo. Up and forward. Engage. And then bring the right heel towards the left. Look at your inner arch. And we're going to squat. Lower the foot and then lift and pull. Find that inner thigh. A lot of work here. You can start to make it bigger, engaging the arms, making the movement a little bigger. Bring it up, hold. Sink the little, bend the left knee a little more. And we're going to take the foot slowly out to the right. And then bend the knee and take it all the way back nice and slow. Tuck it behind. And then all the way back to where we came. Nice and slow, learning to float. Engage both legs. Find every single part of this movement. Don't just throw your limbs in space. Active engagement. Learning to float. Hold and hover. Woo. And then bring it down. You can really tap out that left leg.
Didn't we do this? Didn't we lift out on this side?
Like this?
I thought we did. Did we not?
No, we went round.
Okay.
I think, I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm super tired today. So bring it back down, feet under hips, bend in the knees,
I'm also really tired.
soft back, engage the core. So option here to repeat the movement we made a little earlier, only a little slower. So when we inhale, lift arms up, exhale, round, hollow, bring torso towards knees. Option to take this a little more challenging by bringing this to the balls of your feet. Woo. Find your center of gravity and learn to float. Maybe returning to that pause, push away. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down, and then push and pause. Inhale, up, lower the heels, exhale, swan dive it down, touch the ground. Right foot back, left foot back, high plank. Bring the left knee towards the left elbow, bring the left heel towards the right hand, hold and hover, and then lower the knee down and try to stay engaged. Find a strong, active pigeon. So press actively into that left leg so you find left glute area. You can take this passive or you can take it a little active and move.
I have songs stuck in my head because you kept saying I have one of our booty songs stuck in my head.
And then you're going to slowly slide over onto the left hip. You're going to end up like this. Of course, I'm going to turn it around so you can see me. So, left heel towards right leg. Turn and look at the right leg. Lift the left hand. Grab onto the outside of the right leg. So once you get there, find a little play, a little movement. Take the tension out of the head and the neck. Bring torso back up and we're going to move and breathe. Left hand lands. Inhale, scoop, lift, breathe open. Exhale, sweep it down and maybe a pause. Inhale, lift, scoop, lift the hips. Open. Exhale, release. Lift and hold open. And then bring it back down and we're going to find a comfortable seat. So we're going to be here for a little bit. If you want to grab a block or a cushion, find a seat that works for you. Get comfortable, get tall maybe. Take some wiggles and adjustments. Find your breath. We're going to take right hand thumb, and make some circles on the base of the left hand thumb. And let's switch sides. Circles. Finding the tension. Our thumb does a lot of work, and we often hold a lot of tension right in the ball of this thumb. The thumb. And then just squeeze hands. Feel your hands. Find some movement by squeezing and just kind of self-massaging your hands. Bring some circulation to your hands. Notice what's holding here. And then interlace the fingers and pull them apart. You can take a little movement. You can hold it still, whatever feels good. Inhale as you push your hands away from you, active. Exhale as you draw it back. Inhale as you push. Exhale as you draw it back. Active hands and arms. Maybe connecting with drawing into your heart what you need. And then let that go and take really, 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 really slow circles with the hands. As slow as you can, as if you're trying to feel every movement your wrist can make. And then back the other way. So not flopping, just nice slow circles. And then take the hands out, palms down. Hold here. Notice where you hold the tension, which compensation patterns you have. You might be squeezing your glutes, your low back, your neck. Just hold your arms. Check in with what is holding your arms. And then roll the shoulders. So we're going to roll the right hand up, really thinking about rolling the shoulders. Look at it. And then switch. Roll the left hand back. And just switch, corkscrewing the shoulders. Starting to just try and release tension in the shoulders. Undo holding patterns. And then bring the arms down. Give them a little shake and a little wiggle. Roll the shoulders all the way forward. And then roll the shoulders all the way back. And then take the shoulders neutral. Take left hand to right shoulder and give it some pinches. Round the shoulder, around the upper arm, little pinches. Like grabbing with your hand. And then the same thing other side, right hand to left shoulder, grab. Some circulation here, feel like a little self-massage, a little release of tension, and maybe bring it down the arm a little. And then release the shoulders, palms up, hands in the lap. Notice how you feel. Maybe even bring your eyes closed for a moment. Find your breath. All that work in the shoulders, and then a little bit of a rub, a little bit of a massage on the shoulders. Maybe you can feel like you can release a little more tension in the shoulders. Pay attention to in between the shoulder blades. That space right in between. Sometimes when we think we need to have more correct posture, we pull the shoulder blades back. Pull the shoulder blades back in together and we get a little pinching in the back. And if this is normal for you, you might not even be aware of it. So really place your attention right in between the shoulder blades and see if you are soft here or not. See if maybe you can soften that pinching. Roll the shoulders, wiggle the shoulders a little. See if you can get that to soften. And then return to your gratitude, your 4 things that you are grateful for at this start of practice, and take a couple of rounds. Nice and slow, touching one finger at a time to the thumb, naming your 4 things, maybe even with a soft smile on your face. And checking in, noticing maybe you feel a little more grateful for these things now, or maybe not. There's no right or wrong answer. Maybe it's a little easier to focus and visualize on these 4 things. And complete a full round, and then slowly make your way down onto your back. Really taking your time as if each part of the movement is a meditation. Coming down to the ground as slowly as you can, as meditatively, mindfully as you can, making your way down and rolling onto your back, almost as if you want to feel every part of the movement, because when we do this, we learn things about our body. Have your feet down, knees up. Wiggle the feet. So change the position of your feet. Maybe they're close to the glutes, you feel more comfortable, maybe further away. Find that position. I don't know what that position is for you. Only you know that. Find that position where your hips and your lower back and your knees and ankles feel most comfortable, with your feet on the ground and your knees up. Take a little side to side adjustment with the chin, feeling the neck, starting to let go in the head and the neck. And then bring the palms of your hands together and make them really, really, really warm. So rubbing them together, make them warm. And then place the palms of your hands just above your hip bones. So feeling the warmth of your hands on this grounding space, your base. Imagine the warmth of your hands could release all of the tension and holding patterns existing around the hips, around your base, maybe even through all the way to the lower back. Imagine with each breath you're breathing in, drawing in fresh energy to send to your hands, to send to your hips. And with every exhale, you're just scooping away all that all those holding patterns and tension and things no longer needed. And then gently bring right knee over left and bring your knees slowly in towards the chest. And you might be able to reach for your shins and feel like you're drawing opposite foot to shoulder. You're looking for the glute area, piriformis area on the right side. So just kind of breathe into this space. Being aware that this is a fight or flight space. These muscles are often stuck in tension. So breathing here, imagine breathing in fresh and sweeping away tension and holding patterns from this space. And then let go of your legs. Let your knees come back towards the hips a little bit. Place the right hand palm down on the ground. Firm right shoulder on the ground. And then allow the knees to come over to the left. Your right foot's probably going to hit the ground. Planting that right arm down. You want to feel an opening on the right rib cage. You can have a little left hand base for this left knee. You can push into the left knee, just giving it a little base to land on. You can let the left foot be the base. You can bring your left hand on top of the left thigh. Just experiment with what feels good. Just for the rib cage, we're thinking about from the armpit down the rib cage, opening up, a little bit of a twist in the core. Slowly bring the knees back to center, unravel. Left knee goes on top of right, knees come in towards chest, foot comes to opposite shoulder. And breathe. And let your knees return to about hip height. Left hand palm down on the ground. Left shoulder remains grounded. Let the knees come over to the right. Let the left foot find the ground. Right hand can support. Just thinking about opening up across the rib cage on the left side. Nice Slow breath. All the work is done. Bring the knees back to center. Unravel, and choices here. You can return to that grounding, restorative position of your feet wide, knees together, finding that position where your hips feel grounded. Or if you prefer, you can take full Shavasana, resting pose. So your legs are going to come long, maybe even to each corner of the mat. And take a wiggle once you do that. Make sure that the hips and the lower back are still comfortable. A resting pose is all about comfort, all about taking out the tension, knowing that we worked our muscles, we found all the tension, we found some mind-body connection, and now we're going to let it release, let it soften, let it melt into the ground. Maybe take a little more tension out of the face. And then begin to let go of control of even your breath. So we did a bunch of physical postures for learning to float today because I chose a reading on learning to float. So learning how to float, this is from the Book of Awakening. When first learning how to swim, I didn't trust the deep. No matter how many assuring voices I heard from the shore, I strained and flapped to keep my chin above the surface It exhausted me. Only when exhausted did I relax enough to immerse myself to the point I could feel the cradle of the deep keeping me afloat. I've come to understand that this is a struggle we all replay between doubt and faith. We thrust into any situation over our head. Our reflex is to fight with all of our might the terrible feeling that we are sinking. Yet the more we resist, the more we feel our own weight and wear ourselves out. At times like this, I remember learning to float. Mysteriously, it required letting almost all of me rest below the surface before the deep would hold me up. It seems to me, almost 40 years later, that the practice of finding our faith is very much like that. We need to rest enough of ourselves below the surface of things until we find ourselves upheld. This is very hard to do. But the essence of trust is believing you will be held up if you let go. And though we can practice relaxing our fear and meeting the deep, there is no real way to prepare for letting go other than to let go. Once immersed, once below the surface, it's not by chance that things slow down and go clear, feel weightless. Perhaps faith is nothing more than taking the risk to rest below the surface. That we can't stay there only affirms that we must choose the deep again and again in order to live fully. That we must move through the sense of sinking before being upheld is what trusting is all about. So for the next few moments, the next few breaths, maybe practicing the art of letting go and learning to float. Letting go of the world of should and should not. Letting go of how you think your practice should or should not be, how you think your mind should or should not be, how you think you should or should not be behaving or thinking or doing. Letting go and just being. Floating in this moment in time. Gently return to the sound of my voice. If you are able to and you have the time, please hit pause, ignore us, take the time that you need. Take the time that your body needs and stay here if you need it. If you need to be at the 60-minute mark for your practice, we are at the 60-minute mark. So begin to return to the room nice and slow. Feel your body on the ground. Feel the parts of your body that are touching the ground. Perhaps beginning to connect with the temperature of the room on your skin. The sound of your breath as you begin to awaken and soften back into present moment. Bring a knee in at a time and curl up in a little tiny ball on whichever side is calling to you. Connecting to the fetal position, curling up, reminding us of a time in the womb when all of our needs were met. We had not judged ourselves as negative or positive, we were simply a spark of life. And come to this pose as often as you can to remind yourself that this spark of life exists within us, unchanged by our experiences. Just waiting patiently for us to connect within. Right there, under the waves of the mind, under the waves of the emotion, under the waves of life's experiences, is our truest essential self. Our little spark of life. And then bringing yourself to a seated position, hands of prayer at heart space. Connect with this gesture of bringing our left and right sides to meet in front of our hearts. As if accepting ourselves as whole and complete, exactly as we are. May we all know love, light, and connection. Thanks so much for joining us today.